Make some noise for these guys, all right? We got Edward Furlong, James DeBello, and Ron Jeremy, the cast of Detroit Rock City. So dive right into it. Start at the beginning. I'll ask a couple questions. As soon as I see hands going up out there, I'll start calling them out. So how was the film initially pitched to you guys, and what were your first impressions of the project?
You guys want to go first?
Well, mine was well different than these guys. You guys went through the professional circles, right? Like Adam got a hold of your... I've known the director for many, many, many years, and Adam's been a really good friend. He's put me in The Chase with Charlie Sheen, Caveman Comedy with David Carradine. What fell? Oh, I dropped the name, Dave Carradine. It's right over there. Oh, and so name dropping, you know. So there's everything he'd done, he'd put me in. He's a very loyal friend. So he told me he was doing Detroit Rock City, and that he told me about the project. I said, sounds great. Gene Simmons was one of the producers. I knew Gene Simmons as well, and we used to compare tongues. And then one thing led to the next, and so great to do the film. And it was a great experience and a lot of fun. I mean, he's a hoot on a set. So is he.
Yeah, I just auditioned for it. I didn't really know who Kiss was. I was really into Kurt Cobain at the time, but it was fun. I think I got casted. I know I got casted not because of how I read the audition, but about like how I acted in between. Like they let the camera keep running, and they're like how I was acting in between scenes, and they're like, we want you to act just like that, not like that other guy. You just act like yourself, sort of like enthusiastic. But it was a lot of fun to make.
Hey, just to make this current, that recent, Burt Reynolds, he passed away. And the guy who directed Detroit Rock City, Adam Rifkin, also directed the Burt Reynolds movie, which was his last movie, and which was about a star who goes through declining years.
Dog days.
What?
Dog days. Dog years. Dog years?
Yeah.
It's called Dog Years, I think.
Yeah. So
you could Google.
So I was like, I'm just saying that the Burt Reynolds film was directed by the same director who directed Detroit Rock City, and he got good acclaim for it. People liked his work in the Burt Reynolds film. They liked his work on Detroit Rock City. He's gotten lots of good reviews. He's a good director.
For me, it's actually a pretty cool story. I already liked Kiss a lot, obviously. And I just went home. I was with my friend, and I was at home, and I, shows how old I am. I pressed play on the answering machine, and I'm just in the other room, not paying attention. My buddy came out, and he's like, "Dude, Gene Simmons was just on your answering machine." I was like, "No way!" And of course, it was Gene Simmons, and yeah, he invited me to his birthday party, and it just went on from there, man. He's like, I want you to do this movie I'm producing. I met with Adam. Adam's a sweetheart. He's very talented. And at that time, I was like, yeah, dude, I'd love to do I love the 70s, you know what I mean? I was kind of born, I was born in 77. I was like a wannabe, 70s person. So, I mean, just doing like a kind of 70s rock and roll movie about Kiss was like a no-brainer to me, yeah.
To quote Richard Belzer, if you can remember the 70s, you weren't really there.
Guys, anyone for questions out there yet? Here we go. Got one out there.
What are you guys' favorite scenes?
Favorite scenes?
What are you saying?
I like his scene where he drinks liquor for the first time and he thinks it's like something that's gone bad. That really resonates with me. It's gone bad.
These guys are buddies. We all look after each other. Say how? He does this film, Cabin Fever. I gave him a T-shirt, of my face, and also I'm watching Cabin Fever, and there's my T-shirt on the killer.
Yeah.
The killer wore my T-shirt in the movie. Makes no sense because I didn't know the killer, but I thought it was really funny.
Yeah,
and then the director's cut, The director, what was his name again, director?
Eli Roth.
Yeah. So he's directing it with a director's cut, talking about the movie and behind the scenes. And the director is wearing a Ron Jeremy T-shirt.
You're everywhere,
Man,
pal.
what a good DeBello. What a great
World
guy.
famous.
You know? Anything I could do to help his PR,
Yeah.
I'm right there. You kidding me?
What was I gonna say? Giuseppe Andrews is also in Cabin Fever. Same casting director as Detroit Rock City. Cabin Fever. Joe.
Did you guys go through a casting director?
I did.
Gene Simmons wanted you to direct, right?
Yeah. I went pretty direct. Yeah.
And did you go through a casting director?
What's your favorite scene? I did.
My favorite scene.
What scene you like?
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard because I look at things, actually being there, not quite as the scenes themselves, but sort of the time shooting them. For me, I'll tell you, I remember I really wanted to go to Giuseppe's little kind of arc because it was like supposed to take place like backstage and everything, and I was like, dude, I want to like go hang out with the girl. Did we get dressed up?
Yeah, we got dressed up.
Yeah, we were extras because we just wanted to go, and it was kind of like a party there.
So just a real quick thing. We're shooting for, say, 80 days. And we're pretty much shooting for, 50 days altogether. And then 30 days is broken up, divided by 4, where we each had basically our own week where we were just shooting all of our little scenes. So it was like time off for, other people, but that one actor was just them for like 5 days. So yeah.
Yeah, essentially, the 4 main characters, kind of separate and go their merry ways. And for me, man, I had a lot of fun, shooting the scene I did with Ron. I just remember getting there and like seeing, Ron walk by the trailer, and I'm like, did a double check, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I grew up with this guy. It's like Ron Jeremy. So
What
like,
is he doing here?
yeah,
Am I on the wrong set? What the fuck is this?
So yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of fun. I was really nervous about that scene, and I kind of got proud of myself because I'm a bit shy of a person. So getting up there and doing that whole striptease was a little daunting, but I actually had a lot of fun doing it.
We got one more
It's
thing.
Raining
So
Men.
Giuseppe's
That was the name of the club. It's Raining
Giuseppe's
Men.
scene, like all of his stuff is like him trying to sneak in backstage. I don't know if you guys know what a call sheet is, but a call sheet's basically, script and all the cast members like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the bottom there will be like 20 rockers or like, 30 crowd members or 50 audience members. And for Giuseppe's thing, it was backstage at a Kiss concert in the 70s. And it was like 20 all-naked girls.
Yeah. So now you know why we wanted to be there.
like 20 nude actresses. Like, wow, I'm not working that day, but I could swing by. They put us in a costume. Did we go in the hot tub?
I don't know. This is all pre-Me Too movement. But,
Well, it's just true. It said that.
yeah.
Sounds like another day at the office for Ron.
Right?
But actually, if I could riff on his question, I've always been curious about filming the concert scenes, not necessarily the backstage parts, but did you guys just film around like an actual Kiss concert, or?
Yeah, you know what? They played, I think, 1 or 2 songs. They would kind of do it over and over again because they had to match it
Sync
and
it,
everything. But yeah, it was in a big stadium. It was with a bunch of extras, and they reenacted literally like their 1977, was it, or 1978, 78? Yeah, their whole, their whole stage thing.
Wow.
Which, by the way, man, like, I liked Kiss Destroyer and everything like that, yeah. But man, dude, like, I hadn't seen them live. I don't think you had seen them live before that. And man, they throw such an insane show. I mean, we were lucky enough to be able to have dinner with the guys and go to their, concert. And
Was that Buffalo?
I don't remember. I don't
Yeah, it
remember
was
where
in Buffalo. I remember a street, Chippewa Street. I don't know. That's what I remember. A random street in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's funny too because the actual scene.
I know the hotel we stayed at.
The scene in where we're going to the concert, that's the only scene that's actually shot in Detroit. The rest of it was shot in Toronto, Canada. So.
Adam wanted to make also a very unique film and get angles that you don't usually see in movies, like the thing when Lin Shaye throws the record on the in the garbage can and it twirls around in the garbage can and becomes an actual recording, you know?
Yeah.
Or better yet, he actually shoots a POV from inside Gene Simmons' mouth.
Yeah.
Remember that great shot?
Yeah.
The camera's like this, you know? It's actually inside his mouth, you know, and you see fire shooting out of it. And then you cut to, you know, the concert, and Gene Simmons is, you know, blood and fire shooting out of him. I mean, and Adam got what he wanted. He got a shot that no one's ever seen before. You know, you need usually like an endoscope to get a shot like that. But it was just a, you know.
Mold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A gigantic mold to look like it's inside his mouth.
Yeah.
And the camera goes inside the mouth, looking out, and you see the people dancing, the concert goers, the POV of a guy's mouth. That's great. I mean, that's something that Adam really wanted to do when he got it. Right?
$100,000 later.
Guys,
One shot probably cost a fortune. Yeah.
Anybody for questions out there, guys?
Say that again?
How's Lin Shaye, right? How's it working with her?
Oh man, Lynn's awesome.
For those that don't know it, Lin Shaye was also the girl in Something About Mary. Remember the film where she had the really sagging boobs? Remember?
Rhoda.
She played her roommate. That's Lin Shaye. She's in almost all of Adam's films. He likes her a lot. She's good.
Yeah,
She's an excellent actress.
Yeah, I had ran into Lynn.
She gets a lot of work.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I knew her brother.
Bob Shaye.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, she's just a sweetheart, man. I mean, there's nothing you can dislike about Lin Shaye. She's just a sweet person. She's a good worker. She's down to earth. She's funny. She's smart. Yeah, I mean, she's just cool all around.
Adam likes to put certain things in his films too, just for the hell of it to be funny. Like, you know, blumps. Like there's a truck will go by and it says blumps. You know, like some kind of cream pastry. I don't know. And he does this all the time. If you look at his movies, you'll always see there's some point, just very subtle, when they're walking by a sign or a truck or a bus, or a sign will say blumps. You know, and it's a picture of his grandma. That's a caricature that's on the side of the bus or the limousine. He does something else too. He likes to throw in, like as an inside joke, he'll try to put it in where a girl's hitchhiking. Natasha Lyonne was hitchhiking in Detroit Rock City. But what he does is he has a girl's hitchhiking, and the guys go, "Dude, let's pick her up. She's sexy." He goes, "Yeah, boy, yeah." And most porn films begin like this. You pick up that wayward girl on the highway, and he goes, "Yeah, dude, but most horror films also start like this, you know." So he's used that joke in a couple of movies, you know.
Seeing as how the original cut was over 3 hours long, I believe, right? Were there any deleted scenes, anything that you guys remember that fans haven't seen that didn't make it maybe to the DVD or anything like that?
Probably mine. No, I'm kidding.
3 hours long.
That's what I read. It said the original cut was
Said that.
first cut, IMDb, I think, something like that.
The script was only 90 pages.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
A lot of dramatic
I think you're
pauses,
mistaking
right?
it for the rap party was 3 hours long.
yeah.
Okay.
Look what we had. You guys at the rap party? They had Gene Simmons. They had
Kiss performed.
Yeah.
Who's that?
And
that band,
Everclear
Quiet Riot.
and-
Quiet Riot was there. I mean,
That was cheap.
they had a bunch of great rock bands. They had at the big parking lot. Was it the Sony or a lot? Whatever.
Yeah.
It was a huge, great rap party. I mean, like, God darn it, with all rock and roll and performers and great people and good-looking women. I never wanted to leave.
Yeah.
So
There was
that was 3 hours
Yeah.
at the movie, you know.
I forgot there was that whole sequence where
What's that?
it was a very serious moment where Ron and I had molested both Trip and Hawk, and we had to come to grips with it. Then it just turns into a funny romp, you know.
Where was I during this one?
We knocked it out.
Well, you guys.
No, I don't think there was any
He's-
deleted.
he's
I'm
still
trying to think. There
acting.
might have been like one thing deleted.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, I haven't seen the movie in so long.
Yeah.
But what was there? There was a scene where we fall in a bathroom or something. Was that in there?
That's in there.
That's in there. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you guys talked about the rap party a little bit. Is there anything you guys remember from like the premiere weekend, or it's a big party, big studio thing?
I got
or
a stretch Hummer limo.
stretch Hummer limo.
Fred Durst was my date from Limp Bizkit.
Fred Durst was your date.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we need some more details here.
Yeah.
You're being just let it slip out. Guys, any memories?
It was fun.
You know what? I think I had a good time, so I don't remember it at all.
That's probably the way to do it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like the 70s.
The 70s. Very cool. Guys, anybody for questions out there? Got one up here?
Yeah.
Favorite movie experience? That's just tough for me to say, man. I've had, you know, I could say probably worst, but I won't, you know, pretty easily. But generally, I have such a good time doing what I do. I'm blessed, you know. I had a great time on our movie, you know. Yeah, you know, I have no complaints. I've had a great time on so many films I couldn't even tell you. Yeah.
What's the weirdest form of Kiss memorabilia you've ever seen? Or like paraphernalia?
Kiss.
Kiss
Memorabilia
Weirdest-
or
Yeah, weirdest Kiss memorabilia.
um
It's a coffin, right?
Yeah.
A Kiss coffin?
coffin.
Pretty weird.
Yeah, the Kiss coffin. They had a little slogan that said, "Take your last ride with Kiss."
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And
really
they
trying
say
to
they
get
say that you
somebody's
use it for
last
beer.
dollar.
You put ice in it and use it to store beer, you know. And then when you die, then you have take your last ride with Kiss. They get buried with all the beer and the ice and all. Yeah, Gene Simmons thought that, you know. That's the part of the Kiss Army stuff, you know. So Kiss caskets is pretty good, right?
Kiss towels.
That's funny.
I don't think we can hear you.
Pantera, the one, Vinny Paul, passed away. He had Gene Simmons had David Hoffman.
What's it? What about Vinnie Paul? Vinnie Paul, of course, from Pantera, a friend of mine.
Oh wow.
What happened?
Gene Simmons gave him the coffin. Gave him the coffin. Gave him the coffin.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Vince Neil gave her the coffin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. But he gave it not for dime bag, only for just for Vinnie Paul.
Questions out there, guys? Was there ever talk of a Detroit Rock City 2?
Nope, not that I know of.
Not that we heard about, no.
The movie makes $100 million, then they start talking about a sequel, right?
That's usually a Hollywood thing. It has to
it's
make so
like,
much.
Wow. There's definitely, everybody died. I was in a movie where everybody died and they made a sequel.
I was in a film where the actor, where the script died.
We're going to figure it out.
Oh, man.
Movie does well enough.
You don't come back in the sequel when you die. That's
They
what I'm
brought people
saying.
back.
Is there any more questions out there, guys?
Some people's career died. Okay.
All right, this guy's waving. I'm going blind from the lights. It's all right. I got a few more anyways. Actually, I'll go one personal one for each of you guys before we wrap up. Start with Edward. You had like an incredible run of super diverse films throughout the 90s, and Detroit Rock City is definitely no exception. After doing so many like heavy films throughout the decade, were you kind of happy to wrap the decade up with like a fun light comedy? It was like kind of a break for you from some of the heavier work you've been doing?
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Because that was one of the things I kept saying when I started out. It's like, damn, dude. Like it's always, you know, and you know, I remember it was funny because when I first kind of started, kind of being in the spotlight, I remember like the teen beats and all this shit. They would have like these weird stories about me that just were never true, but they were like, oh, Eddie sits in his room and cries and like, what? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what chicks dig. Good for you, man.
Oh my.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I just would love to do like a happy movie, and yeah, I mean, John Waters, I remember for Pecker was kind of the first people who cast me in something like that, and he's like, can you even smile? I'm like, yeah, and you know, from then on, yeah, it's you know, I'm you know, I find myself, I mean, I find the humor in pretty much everything, so yeah, it's fitting. I like it.
Cool. Awesome. And then also one for James. Being that we're at a horror con and you obviously have a bunch of Cabin Fever fans here, I was wondering if, you know, you noticed like a different interactions between, you know, horror fans and comedy fans, or if the experience at the table is any different, if you could spot them like, oh, this is Cabin Fever from 50 feet away, I could see it coming.
Well, no, Kiss fans can see him coming from 50
Well,
feet
obviously,
away.
yeah.
They're very enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's true. Because that would be the dead giveaway,
Cabin Fever
right?
is a mix.
Cabin Fever's a mix.
But yeah, Kiss fans are, you know,
Right on.
and they're like usually smiling, very, very excited.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Okay, so one for Ron. You've had 2 successful film careers, obviously. It's both an adult star and a studio film actor. I was wondering what advice you have for actors trying to expand from the adult world into studio work.
Best of luck. It's not easy.
Can't beat that, right?
If there's a stigma, it's not going to happen. You know, it's tough.
That's really tough.
You know, me and Eddie were almost in another film. Did that Manson Girls thing ever take off?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it did.
Yeah, there's a girl making. What's her name? The director. She's done some stuff.
I can't remember.
So she was doing a movie about the Manson Girls, and I had a part of a videographer, and I don't know. I think you would. Part too, yeah.
Briefly, yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, the advice you give somebody to go into mainstream, no matter where you come from, whether you come from Lee Strasberg or the Academy of Dramatic Arts, whether you come from Stella Adler, whether you come from a bunch of porn films, anywhere you come from, you know, you got to apply, take it seriously, take your acting seriously, and have some fun. Because the acting in adult is mostly, you know, oh baby, you know, but it's you have to memorize that. You know, you want to go into, you know.
Very cool, very cool. So before we wrap it up, give you guys a chance to promote anything you got coming up, any upcoming projects, appearances. Where can your fans catch you guys next?
Couch.
I got 2.
Chilling. I'm in New York City. I have like a bunch of Airbnbs. You can find me on Airbnb and like rent one of my apartments.
Coming to an Airbnb
I'll be
near
your host.
you.
I'll be like, hey guys, I'll tell you what cool restaurants are in the neighborhood.
Very cool. Ron, Eddie?
I got a film coming out. I think it's called Remember the Glickmans. They change the titles a lot. It's with Cloris Leachman and Ed Asner.
Oh, cool.
And the thing I thought was funny about Ed Asner is here's a guy who was the Screen Actors Guild president, you know, for many years, and in a movie with a guy who's done a couple of thousand non-union movies. I thought that was kind of funny. And I'll only make that comment here to this audience. Years ago, a few months ago, I wouldn't have made that comment because he'd probably kick me off the film. You know, so. And I did a film with Lemmy. Yeah. Anybody know Motorhead? Lemmy? Yeah. I did his last movie. It got a lot of press because he passed away. And if you order a Lemmy at a bar, restaurant, whatever, it's Jack and Coke. And they're doing it all over the country, you know. And Steve-O from Jackass is in it. I'm in it. It's directed by Phoebe Sinatra, a girl related to Frank Sinatra. And it's coming out, unless it just came out. It's called Sunset Society, about a bunch of vampires living under the Comedy Store and living under the rainbow. It's a fun film, a lot of rock stars. And Lemmy is the lead. And people always loved Lemmy a lot. A musician, rock and roller, just a great guy. Yeah.
Awesome, very cool. Edward, anything coming up?
No, not really right now. No.
Very cool. Well, if you guys want to meet these guys, you got to catch them at their table because you know where you're going to see them next. So make one more round of applause for this amazing cast, guys.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry for taking so long.